Hi everybody and welcome back to our online cookery group with Kate and Olivia.
Yeah, welcome. And thanks very much for all your feedback and photos from the enchiladas last week. It sounds like you've had lots of fun in the kitchen.
Yeah, it looks great. So what's the plan for today, Kate?
So the temperatures are beginning to drop, the nights are drawing in. We thought we'd do a lovely warming casserole. It's called harvest pork casserole with herby dumplings.
Oh, that sounds perfect at this time of year. Let's make a start.
For this recipe you need oil, plain flour, pork, medium curry powder, 1 onion and 1 cooking apple, a stock cube, carrots, parsnips and tomato puree. And then for the dumplings you'll need self-raising flour, suet, salt, sage and some cold water.
So you want to start by chopping your onion. Just be careful with the sharp knife, especially if you're doing it with your children. Then pop it in the pan. I put about a tablespoon of vegetable oil in the pan and it needs to fry for about 5 minutes. While it's frying, then you can prepare your tea. Once your onions have softened for about 5 minutes, then you're ready to add the meat. Just make sure you're washing your hands after handling raw meat. Turn up the heat slightly at this point and give it a good stir round until it's pale on the outside. Then it's time to add some flour. I've got a heaped tablespoon of plain flour. Sprinkle that in and work in the flour with your wooden spoon until there's none of it showing anymore. Then I've got 600 millilitres of vegetable stock. You might not quite need all of that. You're going to add it a little bit at a time to make sure that the gravy doesn't go lumpy. So add just a small amount and then work it round with your spoon so that the flour can get mixed into the stock. Once you've done that, then it's time to add your vegetables. We're using 3 carrots and 2 parsnips, but equally you could add swede or potato, or a really good addition is some frozen chunks of sweet potato or butternut squash. They're very tasty too. So once you've chopped off the ends and peeled the carrot, you want to be cutting it into very small pieces, otherwise it's not going to cook in time. Add the carrots and the parsnip. And then the warming flavour is created by a good heaped teaspoon of curry powder. You might want to alter the amount you're using depending on your family's taste. And a good dollop of tomato puree also helps to thicken the gravy. And lastly, you want to add a chopped cooking apple. If you don't have a cooking apple, an eating apple will do absolutely fine. You might want to add a little bit more stock at this point. And then that's going to simmer on the stove for about 15 minutes, and while it simmers you can make the dumplings. So now we're going to make the dumplings. These are a really easy and fun thing to make with your children. I've got 250 grams of self-raising flour, 125 grams of suet, a good pinch of salt, and a heaped teaspoon of herbs. I'm using sage, but you could use thyme or oregano or mixed herbs, whatever you've got to hand. good mix round. And then I've got 200 millilitres of cold water. It needs to be cold. Add that, but don't add it all because you don't want your mixture to be too sticky. A little bit more. A bit at a time. Once it's all mixed in, it wants to look about like that. As I say, it doesn't want to be too sticky. Then this is the fun bit. You want to take small pieces of the dough, roughly that size, roll it in the palm of your hand and set it aside ready to put on top of the casserole. And this will make about 12 dumplings. My casserole's been simmering away on the hob for 15 minutes now, and I've transferred it to a casserole dish and it's ready to add the dumplings to the top. You literally just want to place them on the top, you don't need to press them down, and they will expand, and it doesn't really matter if they are right next to each other and bunched up. I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees C, 180 fan or gas mark 6. There we go. Ready for the oven, and while that's cooking, it takes about half an hour until they're really lovely and crispy on the top. I'm going to prepare some Savoy cabbage to go along with it. So the casserole's had 30 minutes in the oven and the dumplings are lovely and crispy and golden on the top.
Oh, it looks delicious. Thanks, Kate. We're about to enjoy this together, and we hope you enjoy cooking yours at home and eating it together as a family. And remember to take a photo of what you've cooked. We would love to see it. And if you decide to post it on social media, then why don't you tag us in it at #FFL Cookery Club.
Thanks for joining us, and see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.